Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Mike and I'm putting this channel together to help anyone who's looking to retire early. And I'm going to show you today how you could actually do that in 10 years or less, even if you have no money saved up right now. So to get us started, I'm going to look at one of the articles that actually got me started on my journey to early retirement. And this article got me to look at things a little bit differently. I always kind of assumed, I make a lot of money in my life and, I can retire when I want and I'll be good. However, this article really turned it around and shows how if you could save a bunch of money and increase your savings rate, you could actually cut years off your working career and retire at a much earlier age. And how savings is actually a lot more important than increasing your income. So I'm going to dive through this article today, which I'll link in the bottom of the video, and then going forward, I'll post some more videos that help increase that savings rate to help accomplish this goal. So let's get started. The article is called "The Shocking Simple Math Behind Early Retirement." Again, it's on the Mr. Money Mustache blog, which is a great source to use, and you can click on the link below. So this article, like I said, really shows you the importance of your savings rate, and honestly, I just want to show you guys this chart here, which will show you how you could increase your savings rate from the average, say 5 to 10%, which means you're going to be working 50 years. You graduate college around 20, working like 50 years, you could retire in your 70s if you're lucky. However, if you were, a little more diligent and increase your savings rate to say a simple 10%, you could retire 37 years. And if you start working around 22, that would be retiring at 59, which should be better than the average. But let's jump that up a whole nother scale and let's try to make our goal right around 65% savings. And if you could see, we'd be able to retire in 10 years, 10 and a half to be exact. So in order to get that 10.5% down to 10%, all you would have to do is either have a little bit of money saved or increase your savings percent a little bit more than 65%. And you can see not even anywhere up to 70%. So just a little bit more than 65% will give you 10 in the years, or if you have a little bit of money saved up in, say, an existing 401k or IRA account, you could be well under 10 years for sure if you could increase the savings rate to 65%. That's how important it could be. You could see how, if you're saving 20% currently or even 10%, and, if you were to simply cut out some, coffees from, say, Starbucks and maybe cable TV, your savings rate would increase 5%. Well, that means for two people living together who just increased their savings rate by 5%, they could just cut out 8 years of working, or if they're at the 15% level, 6 years of working. So does coffee and cable TV sound like it's better than, it's worth 6 or 8 years of working for two people? I mean, you guys tell me that one. And as you can see, I did get that example from him and actually from within this article. And we're not saying that you have to completely, cut out cable TV and you can't drink coffees. We just mean, instead of doing it every day, maybe do it once a week, or maybe just make them at home always. And instead of cable TV, maybe switch down to a streaming service, and that could still cut your savings rate by 5% and save those years off your working career. Yeah, that's how this article kind of switched my mind completely, and I really started focusing on savings. And the most important thing I can say would be to budget. Budget. That's definitely the best, because once I put everything on paper, it was kind of amazing to see how much I was spending and how little I was saving when I thought I was saving much more. Yeah, and I'll link into some good websites to budget, like Personal Capital is a budget, My Mint's a popular one, and then I just use WPS. It's just a free Windows version. It's got Excel, basically the same thing as Excel. I use that, and just a little bit easier. I like everything customized, so it's easier to do things, so I like it. But that's definitely would be my first step for anyone other than reading this article. Then number 2 would be starting a budget, so you can see what your savings rate is and where we could increase that savings rate. And I'll make some future videos about how you can cut your phone bill to as little as $8 or $15 a month. Maybe restructuring debt so we could lower debt, pay less interest. And how you could travel for free with credit card points is another one, and so much more. There are some assumptions made here that he does mention. I don't know if you can see on my screen here. They're pretty simple and even links to how you could easily achieve these assumptions. It's earning 5% investment returns. Just for example, if you were to just invest in the SP 500 over the last 10 years, these would be your returns, which average out to be 10%. And over the last, actually, that's from 1965 to 2019, it was the average was 10% returns a year. So that's double what you had to return for to make this work. So obviously you could easily just invest in the SP 500 through companies like Vanguard, Fidelity, and many other brokerage sites. So that's a pretty easy assumption to hit. And then when you're retiring, you'll live off a 4% safe withdrawal rate, which basically means you will withdraw 4% of what you've saved every year. And as long as you're making 5% return, technically you're not doing anything but touching the gains, and your money will actually be increasing by 1%. For the third assumption, it's simply just saying that you are gonna you want your stash to last forever, and you'll only be touching the gains since the income may be sustaining you for 70 years or so. So just think of it as a nice, generous safety margin. And basically just saying that you'll touch the gains and not the initial investment or initial savings. And you can read more about each of these assumptions at the links, which you can see are underlined and clickable from within the article. It seems maybe more difficult at first, but it's actually very easily to be achieved, and many people have done it, and people have done it in as low as 5 to 7 years or less, and especially if you already have money saved up, you could already be a lot closer to it than it is. And it doesn't matter if you're making $1 million, it doesn't matter if you're making 50,000, as he points out. If you're making 50,000 but you're able to put away 50% and get used to living off $25,000, well, you only need to work for 17 years until you have enough money put away to safely withdraw 4% and live every year. Another way to look at this 4% withdrawal, safe withdrawing rate, is basically to take a step back and let's first go over savings rate, actually, just in case anyone wasn't sure what your savings rate. Basically, you can break down your savings rate into two things: how much you take home each year and how much you could live on. And if you take how much you're living on and what you're taking home, the difference would be the amount saved, and that percentage, that number over the total amount of your money you're taking home would be your savings rate. So if you make 100 grand and you're willing and able to live on 50 grand, your savings rate would be 50%. And as soon as the income from your investments and as soon as the 4% safe withdrawal limit becomes more than your living expenses, then you have enough to retire and you're ready to retire. So what that means basically in another way is if you actually save 25 times what you spend each year, that's when you'll be able to retire. So that just shows again how important it is to cut your expenses, because then that cuts how much you need to save drastically. Every dollar cut of your expenses is basically $25 less you have to save. One other way we could actually break that down, let's take it one step further and look at it as basically what we're saying is if that 4% becomes enough for you to live on, you will be able to retire. So for example, if you're making $50,000 and you're living off $25,000 a year, in order for you to be able to withdraw 4% and it be $25,000, you need to be withdrawing 4% from $625,000. So that means you need to put away $625,000, and then you could safely live off the 4% interest rate and the $25,000 that you've been used to living off of during the last however many years it took you to save. If this example was 50%, I believe that would take you 17 years if you were starting with no savings. So again, shows how important it is to increase that savings rate and how quickly it could lead to retirement. So when you cut your spending, you are permanently decreasing the amount you'll need every month for the rest of your life. So if you cut your cable bill or lower your phone bill, dramatically, that permanently decreases the amount you'll need every month for the rest of your life, and that means you'll be able to retire earlier, faster, and quicker. So why not? How important it is to increase your saving rate. All right, so like I said, most importantly, we need to first budget. That's the best thing I would recommend. That will show you what your savings rate is, and if you're looking at that and what you currently have saved, you could figure out how you can retire. I'll link through to the websites I've mentioned, such as Personal Capital, My Mint, which are two good budgeting apps. I personally use Personal Capital just as a way to track my assets, and I budget on WPS, which is just a free version of Word, basically, and it has Excel, or something real similar to Excel, and I use that. So, like I said earlier, I'll be posting some more videos on ways to increase that savings rate, so stay tuned. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit the comments up. I would love to help anybody out. Again, all I'm asking in return, if I do end up helping you out in some way or shape or form, is that you leave this world a better place with some of the time I have freed up in your life. And again, when I say retired, not again, I never said it, but what I mean when I say retired is not necessarily we're just going to sit on the couch and watch TV. No, we're going to be able to do what we want, where we want, and not have to worry about whether it makes us income. So if you like doing something that necessarily might not produce income, you could go and just do that. And it doesn't matter that you're not making income. You could just, if you want to make the world a better place by cleaning the beaches, go clean the beaches, even though you won't make any money doing it. Hey, you'll be able to do it because that's what you love to do. That's your passion. Whatever your passion might be, this will allow you to pursue that passion regardless of it makes money or not. And I think that's one of the beauties of this, because I don't think we're put on this earth to just work for the 20, 30, 40 years. I think, it would be much more reasonable for us to get to 65% and be working for 10 years, and then from that point on, just making sure we leave this earth a better place. So with that, I wish you the best and stay tuned for more. Much love. Bye.